and also I believe low sunlight, and actually Arizona now they're going to artificial turf. But when they had their dome stadium for the Diamondbacks and everything, they tried to. I think they had paspalum in there, and it just wasn't enough sunlight for it. So they basically, it just have to take it out. And
Yeah, why don't people use more turf? Because I feel like what's the cost ratio compared to live grass and honestly performance too.
probably a lot of it. A lot of people look at the or injury factor. I mean, there's definitely a lot more injuries on artificial turf. There's been a lot of the talk of the disease. I mean, just it's soil's an excellent filter. I mean,
Hmm.
guys are out there, whether it's lacrosse, football, all that, spitting, sweating, everything, and on natural grass and everything, it all filters through. I mean, it's a lot, but artificial turf, it stays there. You breed mold and algae, and there's a lot of fields. We had one up at UVM. We always had a mold problem on it because it was girls' field hockey, and the wetter it is, the better they like it. For whatever reason, it makes the ball roll better, all that.
Oh,
But
okay.
we'd
Yep.
get a lot of mold growth on it, so we'd have to go out there and spray it with a bleach solution, and to kill that.
Yeah.
But it's same like your front yard. Basically, if you look at it from a scientific, you're not going to go out and disinfect your front yard. I mean, it rains, things go through, but when you get stuff spilling on your carpet inside, or even whatever, the heat, the sunlight, whatever, and mold grows under it, and it's just a breeding ground. So, but also artificial turf. Lot above me. I mean, I follow it quite a bit, but a lot of people don't like. I mean, they say there's more injuries on it. That's why they've gone to the crumb rubber a lot more, and they say that's a lot better. But you still have it's slippage, or firm. I mean, if you don't have the right crumb rubber in there, and it loses out, and there's just some guys like it, some guys don't.
So
So
I thought all turf had, we used to call them little spiders.
right,
Those
the
little.
pellets.
Yeah.
They've got all kinds of different infills. I
Okay.
mean, different size crumb rubber. There's also like at UVM Molten Winterfield, the girls field hockey field. That's like an omni turf. It's a tight carpet, no infill or anything, just like regular carpet.
Hmm.
And then now they're coming out with infills of like coconut shells and organic matter. And I haven't really seen studies or results on it, but as it decays, it's going to kind of plug up your drainage,
Hmm.
and it's a natural. So, whether that's going to work or people like it or not, but it's creating a whole new business for companies that come in, they comb it, they groom it, they filter it out. If you go look at any artificial field, and like at UVM with Virtue Field, girls play on it, guys play on it. You go out there and walk it, look at it, you're going to find screws, bobby pins, and who knows whatever else kids carry out there, or have buttons come off of their shoes or the eyelets, and over time it adds up. And then whether on regular grass or something, whether it gets hit with a mower or gone or whatever, but over time on artificial turf, there's a lot of buildup of this, that, and the other thing.
Just
And
because it's not constant, like it's not like dirt where if it got wet, it would kind of suck it up, or like you
yeah, or
said, the
absorb
mower
it.
taking
And
it from
I can tell you, even with the heat gun, this was one because we have a lot of camps up at UVM, and the little kids are out there. And I've gone out on some of these days. I can't remember exactly what the uh, outside temperature was, but it was probably the high 80s or low 90s. But I've shot with a heat gun turf in a sunny area, and it'll be as high as 160 degrees. So I mean, a little kid, 5 6 years old, sits down with shorts, going to get a skin burn.
it. Yeah.
So that's another thing. You're not going to get that with turf, or
Or
real
with,
turf.
yep. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It could
Yeah.
be if it's 110 degrees out and you sit down on the ground. I mean, real grass is probably going to be dead, but it's not going to absorb the heat like that.
Yeah.
Where plastic will,
Yep.
or even the crumb rubber.
So
Yeah.
does that, so the omni grass that you were talking about
Yep.
earlier, that's like a carpet. Um, does that tend to get moldier easier? Because I feel like at least with the beads, they kind of move around, so maybe they're getting friction to like rub off any type of bacteria, or is it kind of the same?
It's a good question. With a carpet like this carpet here you have in this room, it'd
Hmm.
be the same type of thing. If you spilled liquids on it and they really have nowhere to go, and the sun and the heat, or just even the heat in here or whatever, you're gonna have mold form. And mold, or if you get it in the walls or whatever, and it's just got nowhere to escape. We're on turf. I mean, it rains and mold just does it. I mean, you'll get mold in natural grass. I mean, that definitely, or you get compacted soil, but probably not as much as on artificial turf. But also, like I said, is with the UVM girls field hockey team, they have water cannons. So every time they play, every time they practice, everything, they turn these water cannons on. So the field's constantly staying wet, and it doesn't really get a chance to dry out when they're using it. So that's where you get a lot of the mold form, and especially probably as you get toward the transition period. Say, school's coming back now. Field hockey be practicing. I'm saying on a normal year. I have no
Yeah.
idea what they're doing now with COVID and stuff, but you're water in the field. They practice. They go. This area is still wet down in there. It's still 85 degrees out, and um, just sweat and whatever else. And the one thing I used to go over with the trainers is when you're done at the end of a practice, grass. You don't want them dumping the Gatorade barrel with the ice and stuff because it'll affect the grass. It
Hmm.
kind of shocks it.
Hmm.
But when you dump Gatorade out, Gatorade's all full of sugar,
Oh yeah, I'm
and
sure the
so
bacteria loves that.
it we had a problem down at the baseball field with that. Is they were dumping the Gatorade around and it smelled like a sewer, and it took us a while to figure out. But it was when Oakland came, because with the Expos, they would never pay for Gatorade or anything. It was just ice water. Once Oakland came, they started using Gatorade or Powerade, and they dump it out, and then all of a sudden, we started having the smell problem. Manager was complaining about it. Well, it didn't take long to figure out what it was, but that's so we had them take it. Hey, dump it down the drain by the field house. They just didn't want to carry it back.
Yeah.
So
So do you guys ever replace the BBs, or the pellets, or do you just replenish them? How does
yeah,
that?
sometimes most of the time, in my experience, because artificial turf is still a little on the newer side,
Hmm.
I've been involved at Super Bowls. We've had